Welcome back to the Breaker Broz, and tonight the hot topic is Bengals depth chart. So I have it pulled up, and really, for the most part, everything looks like what you would expect, except if you look at right guard, we actually have Michael Jordan, the first string, and then
Is it time for the last dance?
Yeah, he took it personal, apparently.
Yeah, and I took that personally.
And then we had have Xavier Zuafula, second string, and then Jackson Carmen, third string right now, coming out of training camp, or the first. This is the first official depth charts. I'm not sure if you want to start off with your speculations or if you have any initial thoughts.
Well, my theory is, right, like the whole we're going to have them earn it, right? So if you're going to have somebody earn it, what's the best way to make them look good? Have them play against guys that are going to dominate. So if you want the guy to win the competition, you have him play against the third stringers. If he's truly a first stringer, he should dominate those guys when he comes in, right? And then the second most alarming thing to me, as a longtime Bengals fan, we know they like to be frugal, right? Frugal.
Mm-hmm.
They like to save a little cash on backups. They don't like to spend money on backups. So the scary thing to me is you have Xavier Suafilo, who has been a proven commodity, right? He's a reliable player. They have him sitting at second string. That's scary to me because I really think he needs to be on the team. It's fine if he's not going to start, but I would be a little worried if they don't keep him around as the backup, you know?
Yeah, and actually, I kind of agree with your, I guess, your sentiment. I think it kind of shows that either Xavier or Quentin Spain, because I know this is going to change before the start of the year, but I do agree they're not going to spend that much money on a backup, and it looks like Xavier is probably the most likely going to be the cap casualty, which I don't understand. You might as well keep him if, especially if we're not going to use the money to extend Jesse Bates. If that's not going to happen, why not have really good depth at offensive line? But anyways,
well, not even really good depth, just depth. Let's start with just having depth,
well, no,
and then work.
I mean, if you
getting
look,
really good depth.
If you look at our roster and depth chart from this year versus last year, I think we assumed a lot, and I think we got burned with the injury bug. And I think in terms of depth. So kind of go back to what you were saying, and I kind of agree, is that they want to show that Jackson Carmen is going to earn it. I don't necessarily think that was their plan initially to put him third string, just based off of some of the interviews I listened to. The theme and as to why DAnte Smith rose to the second string, which most people thought he was going to be like third string, was because they said he always did the little things right. He's like always asking questions, and apparently he doesn't make the same mistake twice. And I think that might be the hint towards why Jackson Carmen might be third string, is because I know with football it's a very like dog eat dog world. Like they're gonna make you earn it most of the time. So I feel like part of the reason why he's third string, and I do agree, is like they do want to make him look good, and there's a psychological.
Yeah, they're playing mind games with him.
Yeah,
they want him to
they want him to. Yeah, well, they want him to earn it, and then when he earns it, he's going to have that that reward feeling. I do fully expect that he will be the starter, and
follow the paycheck, right?
I guess
you're not gonna do it unless he's gonna start, right?
Right. So there's a couple things I want to get to as well, but so that basically means either Quentin Spain or Xavier Zulafulu is probably going to get cut, one of the two, right? But even with that, I was looking at last year's roster. Like I said, I think we assumed a lot, and I guess we didn't really expect the injuries, and we only had one backup guard for each side. Yeah, and I don't think we're going to go into the year that way. I think we're going to actually because I think what's going to shift is that we're going to actually carry one extra offensive lineman instead of having 7 receivers. So I think really the cut is going to come down to, because I do think, it's basically either Xavier or Quentin's going to get cut, and I do think Trey Hill is going to make the squad. But
Trey Hill.
Yeah, Trey Hill. And then what I do like to hear about it is because I know everyone's like, well, there's definitely a side of the Bengals fans that's freaking out because they're like, Jackson Carmen, he's supposed to be blah, blah, blah. He should be like starting. So like they're freaking out. They're already thinking that we like missed out, but they should be excited because if DAnte Smith is like performing well, at the very least, we have a solid backup. And you want to go in the season with at least 6 solid offensive linemen. And I think we could say we have that because you want that 6th person to kind of plug and play wherever you need. And it seems like he can play either guard side and in a pinch. He could probably play tackle if he needed to, right? So that actually puts us in a really good position. And then Trey Hill can even be a diamond in the rough. So
yeah. Well, I'm trying to drink the Kool-Aid, Josh, because I'm trying to be preseason mode. See, regular season mode started to creep in. I started to freak out about cutting players and whatnot. But yeah, sky's the limit. I mean, the thing about football, right, is that the careers are so compressed, and just because somebody was good last year doesn't mean that they are better than a rookie this year. And things are constantly changing, right? Like it's like you're trying to build sandcastle with the tide coming in, right? I'd like to see him start. I feel like Jackson Carmen's going to start. I'm going to try not to worry about it. I'm going to try to enjoy the off season, the preseason. Hope that we go undefeated during the regular season. I try to maintain that off season mindset because pessimism, we can do that during the regular season. Off season, okay, yeah, they're just lighting a fire under them. Also, I heard he was out of shape, right? Somebody said he was out of shape, and I just thought, like, how can you tell if an offensive lineman's fat? I mean, does it even matter, right? I mean, don't you want it? It's like doesn't matter how big you are as long as you can move, right?
Well, I think that's really what it comes down to. Maybe they noticed that he wasn't moving as well, and that could be part of the reason why he's third string. I mean, that's why they were so mad at DAnte Smith back in the day. Was that
but that's a left tackle, right? I mean, like,
yeah,
who
but
cares if your right guard's fat?
He looked.
He'll play himself into shape.
Well, I mean, there's some offensive linemen, even though they're bigger, they're in shape, right? DAnte Smith, like, that's why that video went viral, is that he was just so like jiggly. So it was just.
I know, but then again, like, he was jiggly. So what? He was starting at left tackle for Alabama. He came in and he did good for the Bengals. Like, I don't care what they look like.
But the following years they were always kind of on him because he wasn't always ready to go. Because some players that come in and they expect to be ready by the beginning of the season, not like training camp. Whereas most coaches expect you to be season ready at the beginning of training camp. So like
there are so many offensive linemen who have washed out of the NFL who wish they had DAnte Smith's career, right? I mean, he played in the NFL for over a decade. He was a very good player for the Bengals. He was a mauler in the run game. I mean, I loved his game, I don't care what he looks like with his shirt off. He's an offensive lineman.
Yeah, but there's still a level of
it's like a sumo wrestler, right?
Like, there's some people you never have to worry about that. I mean, it's just, I mean, I can understand it. If I'm a coach, I would want players that would want to be in the best shape, especially at the start of training camp. Like, that's where you want to set the tone. I think that's the difference between professional players and championship players.
I guess, but isn't it nitpicky to like want your offensive lineman to be fit? I mean, it's just like, who cares?
Not fit, just have endurance. I'm not saying like they have to look like they're in shape, but if they have the endurance, then yeah, fine. But if they're not in shape at the beginning of training camp, that's, to me, could be a sign of problem. Now, you're right. At the end of the day, when practice is just practice, right?
Yeah, it's just practice,
right? But
I mean, he's not even gonna play the whole game, right?
DAnte Smith is a exception, but just think if DAnte Smith had Tom Brady's mentality, because DAnte Smith had like just freakish size and athleticism, so it's like he was able to.
Yeah, but I mean, are we gonna rag on people for not being like Hall of Famers when they can be very good football players?
I guess I just don't understand your angle. Like, are the coaches not supposed to be upset about it? Or are they not supposed to have expectations?
No,
I don't understand.
No,
like,
no. My
what are you
angle
trying
isn't.
to say?
I'm just trying to say, like, I'm trying to be relaxed about it because he's a big man. He plays interior offensive line. He will work himself into shape by playing.
I just don't think that's from. That's not why you're a coach in the NFL, right? I think.
Yeah, I get that. I get that, but at the same time.
Yeah,
right?
I think it's just that mentality of if you see a player and you can see them as like a 9 out of 10 and they're playing like a 7 out of 10.
Yeah,
that's why there's that concern and that whatever.
Right.
It's better than to do it than not. It's a winning mentality. I mean, it can work for you, it can work against you because like.
Yeah.
So it just depends on like, because there is a line. Are you really nitpicking, or are you really like, is there a real level of concern? But we don't even know if it's that. I think what I got out of it because I think the point that they're trying to set in camp, and I really do appreciate that, is that if you continue to make mistakes, no matter your talent level, you're not going to play because mistakes is why Joe Burrow got hurt. So I think they're setting the tone and the mentality that they're going to put not necessarily the best athletic players out there, but the best unit that makes the least mistakes. And I think that's what they're going for. Because I think the tone from what I heard from Duke, from what I heard from Taylor and their press conferences and all that, and it said, because what they were highlighting was that DAnte Smith wasn't making the same mistake twice. He was just really trying to absorb. You could just tell, like, when he came into camp, he was ready. It was like all those clues that, like, so like they're in a way they're like, okay, this is what we expect you to look like, or this is what you want to. So like if you just put that type of effort, DAnte Smith type effort, then you're probably going to be a starter. Is what they're trying to do. So like, but I think it really comes down to, like I said, I think the point is that if you're missing your assignment, if you're missing your block, if you're making the same mistakes, you're not going to put you in. And I think that's why DAnte Smith at this point has a slight edge. Because I think talent-wise, Carmen Jackson's better, or Jackson Carmen.
I think that we've hit on, or I think as you're talking, right, we've hit on like a positive here, right? Like with the Tom Brady comparison and the Andre Smith comparison, it's that's what drives coaches crazy, right? They nitpick guys that they think can be elite because they want them to be elite. If you're not getting nitpicked, that means the coach doesn't think you're any good, right? So to me, this is a signal that, okay, we recognize his talent. We think that he can be an excellent player for the Bengals, and they are pushing him and they are riding him and they are coaching him hard because they know that they're going to get a return for their effort, right? And I agree. I think that that is calculated, putting DAnte Smith as a second stringer because he was drafted in the 6th round. Jackson Carmen, 2nd round. They're trying to push all the buttons to motivate him, to push him, to get him ready, right? So being off-season optimistic, I'm going to put that as, okay, well, Jackson Carmen is who they thought he was, and I think he's going to be the starting right tackle definitely by the beginning of the season.
You mean right guard?
What did I say?
Tackle.
That'd
be next season. I think that's the future play.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, though, right? And it's all part of that's why they're pushing them and coaching them.
Well,
because they don't want them to just be a guard; they want them to become a tackle.
And this is my message to Bengals fans that are freaking out, because again, I think we should be more excited than concerned, because what if Jackson Carmen is our Whitworth, right? We drafted him in the 2nd, and he became a really cornerstone. Yeah, right. 2nd rounder. Took a little time to develop to where they wanted to be or whatever. But he could be a big cornerstone for a while. But what if DAnte Smith is our TJ Houshmandzadeh, though? I don't. What if he's a really good guard for the next 10 years, and Jackson Carmen's a really good tackle for the next 10 years, and we all we'll look back and be like, this was actually a good sign. I mean, maybe it's a bad sign. We don't know. We won't know until we cross that road. But to me, this is more of a good sign. And I think, to me, the message was, I get a sense that Jackson Carmen is just he's making mistakes that he shouldn't be making over and over, and I think they just want him to mentally iron that out. Yeah. And they want to show him that, hey, just because you're a high draft pick, there is no guarantee.
Right. So, Bengals fans, public service announcement from Josh. Everything's going to be okay. Bengals have drafted 2 good players, right?
No, 3.
3? I'm on the offensive line. We could draft another offensive lineman?
Yeah. We I think, well, hold on. DAnte Smith, I believe, got in the 5th round, right?
5th or 6th.
And then, yeah, because I think Trey Hill is where we got in the 6th. He is the center from, wait, was it Georgia? No.
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I think we drafted a center from Georgia.
But he could be another, diamond in a rough.
Yeah, that's funny. You kept saying Trey Hill, and I kept thinking some wide receiver. I was like, is that guy like a flanker?
Oh, okay. I was wondering why you said that. I was like, no, I'm like the 3rd offensive line, because but that's funny. That's actually a perfect like.
Yeah, well, you told me you were talking about right guard, man. I didn't read up on everybody else.
Yeah, no. Trey Hill is technically a center. But
that's what I'm saying.
No, right, but he has potential to be. He could be a guard in a pinch. So my point, I think, when we were talking about it, is that we'll actually keep a 3rd technically guard, or I guess center, in Trey Hill. So instead of keeping 7 receivers this year, we're actually going to be a little bit more loaded in the offensive line because we want that depth.
Yeah,
because we didn't have that last year. Like, if you looked at our starters, they were like, okay. But like when people start like getting hurt, that's when everything went to hell. And then we we had no depth whatsoever.
Yeah,
and our the line on a whole was kind of meh, right? Like we definitely upgraded from starters to even depth. So I think this is a good sign. We're still a young team. It's just we want this competition. So good.
Yeah, it's a good sign. Everything's going to be A-OK, right? So I think that wraps up the whole right guard depth chart discussion. So please like this, please subscribe, and we'll hit you up next time.